It was a tough game. We knew it would be. They've got just some players that are tough to guard, and we struggled to keep them in front. But I thought the way we started, the competitiveness we started with, the pace that we started with was great. And obviously got bogged down in the third quarter a little bit. I thought we lost our pace. And as a result, we lost our rhythm and our momentum on the offensive end, and they did a great job of taking that away from us. So we're really pleased with the fourth because we were able to get back to that. That's what we were talking about in the huddles, is like play fast, play fast and play with pace. And that's when we're at our best, running the floor. I thought we navigated the game really well. Obviously had to extend some people to minutes. We got in a little foul trouble in the first half, and I thought Woody was a key player in the first half for us. She plays the 3 and the 4 for us, and so her ability to toggle between those two positions, depending on if we have foul trouble somewhere, is really valuable for us. And I thought her minutes in the first half were key for us at that 4 position.
Kara, I was trying to ask Toby, you came in here a couple weeks ago pretty mad after the Wake Forest win because you thought your team was playing down to the score, wasn't playing to their level. Was the third quarter, you touched on it a little bit, was that more of what they were doing, or was it what your team wasn't doing, I guess, for lack of a better phrase?
I think in a game, when a team goes on a run, it's always a combination of both. I thought we stopped getting stops. We were poor in one-on-one in that stretch, and we were fouling. And then that dictated our pace on the offensive end, and they obviously went to zone there in that third quarter. And some of the looks we got in the first half that we were making, we weren't. And I thought we got a little jump shot happy in that third quarter as well. We need to continue to get the ball inside, even if they're playing zone. So that was a combination of factors. But they did a good job of getting the momentum back in the game there.
Toby said that her free throw shooting was one of the first things you mentioned, in the locker room afterwards, and just 26 points, 12 rebounds, that free throw shooting against a tough front line for NC State. How impressed were you with how she played tonight?
Yeah, she's one of the best players in the country, and listen, everybody likes their player. I get it. I think winning matters. I think it does, like for awards and for Player of the Year and for All-American and for All-Conference, like it matters. It matters that you impact winning. It matters that your team wins. And she's doing that. She's doing that. She's impacting winning. She can score, she can rebound. She's one of the top defensive players in the league. She's doing a lot at a high level right now, and I loved her bounce back. I didn't think she played great on Sunday, and that happens sometimes. But the thing about her, which makes her different than a lot of players, she impacts the game even if she doesn't play great offensively. Like she had 12 boards, 3 blocks, and so there's a lot of good players in the country, but I think you'd be hard pressed to find more than on one hand a forward that impacts winning more than Fournier. It's tough to find what she's doing.
Ken, I want to ask you about rebounding, particularly the fact that your 5'9" point guard had more rebounds than State's 3+ players combined. Duke was plus 16 on the boards. That's a pretty good recipe for a win.
I thought Mare didn't play well, okay, and she knows that. And what I love about her is she knows, she owns when she doesn't play well. But if you want to be a team that wins, your players, when they don't play well, still have to impact the game. And so Mare's got 11 boards and 9 assists in a game that was below her level. Like, she missed shots she normally makes. She got beat one-on-one defensively. She's been a solid defender for us. And so in the face of all of that, do you have players that still compete at a high level, have a toughness to fight through a stretch they're not playing well or a game they're not playing well? That's how you win. And, those two are winners. I talk about them a lot. We've won more games in the ACC than any other program in the last 4 years. And that would surprise people, right? Because of those two kids, because of Ashlyn and T, they win. And so, again, find players that win. And hopefully at the end of the year, they'll be rewarded for that.
Oh, next to you, Jim.
Coach Lawson, one of the things that Coach Moore said about you guys is a compliment when he was in here, is they're who we thought they were. I wonder, has your group been who you thought they would be, or have they been even better during this stretch?
Who's that, Dennis Green?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. First off, I have a lot of respect for Wes. I think he's the best coach in the conference. And I think what he has done at NC State and how hard they are to play and how hard they are to beat every year, no matter the players he has. We have a hard time with them always. And so the other thing about him that I really respect is he shoots you straight, and he's unafraid to give you a compliment. And in coaching, sometimes that's really hard for people to give fellow coaches a compliment, and that's never been hard for Wes. I respect him a lot. Obviously, he was close with Coach Summit. I was coaching at Chattanooga for all those years. And, one of the greatest compliments I've gotten as a coach has been from Wes. He actually said it to me again tonight. He said, your teams remind me of Coach Summit teams. And from another coach that coached against those teams in that era, I don't know that I could get a higher compliment. So I know that doesn't answer your question, but I want a compliment coming from him is as high as you can get for me in our conference and in the country. And I think that our team is growing to a place where I thought we could get to. At the start of the year, even before we played a game, I felt like if we grew and continued to work through the year, that we could get to a place where we were, equally as competitive on the defensive end and the offensive end because of the talented scorers we have and the length that we have. So we're growing to that. We are not there yet. And they know we're not there yet. And I think that's probably the best part about them.
Meredith, you mind if I ask one more question? Coach, this isn't a game-specific question, but you mentioned your two seniors are going to be drafted. Your senior year, there wasn't a CBA in place your whole senior year. Do you remember being concerned about that at all? And are your kids, I know they're all focused obviously on college, but are they concerned at all that there isn't an agreement, or have you talked to them about that at all?
I wasn't concerned. I didn't think a lot about the WNBA my senior year. I knew I wanted to play in it,
Yeah.
but I wasn't consumed by it. I've talked about, with both of them, had conversations about the professional level and where they need to grow in their game to get to that level and hopefully make a team and stay at that level. But yeah, we haven't talked about the labor, the labor stuff. I'm sure they're aware, obviously with social media and all of that, but we haven't talked about the labor. We brought them to Unrivaled when we were in Miami, and they got a chance to watch that level. I just want them to see that level. And we didn't just bring those two, we brought the whole team. And then obviously, Chelsea comes to our games, and, Asia's been to our game, and Ryan Howard and those guys. And then they got to see the USA team up close when they were here. So for me, it's just more about exposures to the level than it is that. So yeah, I don't think they're losing sleep at night worried about it.
Kara, I also have a non-game specific question, but since we're getting closer to March, I don't know if you were aware that the quadrant breakdowns in the net for women's teams are different than that of the men's. If so, is that, like, for example, your win over Notre Dame is a quad 2 win right now. On the men's side, that would be a quad 1. Is that something that the coaches on the women's side have talked about? Is it something that they have an issue with, if they're even aware of it?
I was not aware of that. Well, I think I was aware that I'm aware we have different rules than the men in a lot of ways, right? Like there's just different rules. So to be honest with you, I don't spend time like studying the differences. When I was a broadcaster, I did. Yeah, because I had to know if I was calling a men's game or women's game. So no, we do focus on, what we know the games that are quad ones and quad twos and things like that, and those ebb and flow through the year because people have continue to win or lose. So yeah, there's an awareness there, but I just think you focus on winning as many games as possible. A win's a win. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 is still a win. Wins I don't think hurt you that bad, especially with the schedule we've played. So I think there's always discussion in our spring meetings. About those types of things, when head coach meetings when we get together, and I'm certainly involved in those, but I haven't heard one of like saying we need to be more like them or they need to be more like us. I think we just focus on what we feel like is best, and the good thing about that is it's the same for every women's team, right? And it's the same for every men's team, so at least we're all judged on the same rubric.
Coach, in the first half, it seemed like Delaney and both Delaney and Eric were getting frustrated with probably foul calling.
Yeah.
I was wondering, what was your message, especially how Eric bounce back in the fourth quarter to come up? And speaking of arm rivals, I wanted to know your thoughts on Chelsea winning the one-on-one contest.
With the foul trouble, it's a part of the game, and we need to, if there's something that they're doing specifically that caused the foul, we're obviously going to coach and correct that, in the moment when they come off to the bench. But then after that, it's about looking forward. One, it's about supporting your teammates, which I thought those two did a great job. Like when you get in foul trouble, you get like maybe 15 seconds to pout, but then like you got to give energy to the team. And so I thought those two did a good job of that. And then in the second half, I thought they both impacted and made winning plays and helped us. Robertson late was terrific, right? Her shot making ability and her length. And so that was really good. And, I'm unsurprised, with Chelsea. Having, been around her a long time and certainly having coached her with the USA team, she's just fearless. And when the stakes are highest, she's really good, man. She's really good. So, my money's always on her, not just because she's a Duke grad, but because I know the type of competitive spirit she has. And it's great for her. And we're real proud, of Chelsea and all her accomplishments.
Last two questions.
Speaking of high energy coach, there was a stretch in the first half where you were hot, went into the media timeout, came out of that, forced NC State to burn another timeout almost right away, and then you came out of that timeout, you're still hot. How do you keep that sort of energy up and keep pushing when you're getting all those breaks?
Yeah. Most of the good things you see I have nothing to do with on the court. I thought just their shot making during the stretch in the first quarter was really good. And, they went to zone in the first half to try to slow it down, and we go boom, boom, 2 threes in a row. And so I think it was that we were making shots. That makes you look good. And then I thought we were defending at a high level as well in that first quarter. So, yeah, it was a good stretch for us. You try to elongate that when you're playing well and you're shooting well. You're trying to extend that to as long as possible. And but it was good to start the game, well on the offensive end.
Last question.
It was a physical game, and as we talked about the foul trouble, and then it got a little chippy there in the third and fourth. How do you feel like your team handled that? And, as the things heat up in March, that the chippiness can be a regular part of it.
Yeah, it's just a part of the game. It's competing. Like I said, we have a lot of respect for those guys and their players, and we've had good competitive games with them. So, sometimes it happens. They get the double T, move on. I thought both players moved on and kept playing. They want to win. We want to win. It's competitive nature, and, I didn't think it was anything that crossed the line.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.